discussing about choosing the right person for the right job, right? So we analyzed, or we know how do we select the right job. We do the job analysis, we do job design. And by doing those things, we formulate the right job, and we need to find the right person also. And for that, we need recruitment and selection. To find the last topic of this module was how do we select, how do we carry out the selection process. So we know selection process means basically for the first step is formulating the job description and job specifications. These things are made from job analysis. Once we do job analysis, we form a job specification and job analysis. And after that, we'll send out the application forms. That will act as a screening mechanism. And once suitable applicants have come, they'll have to undergo some aptitude test or something like that, right? And after that, they'll have interviews to be done. They will take part in interviews, right? And after interviews are done, then again that is done. We'll have next step is, so once interview is done, next step will be then we have to undergo some physical or physical test, medical test has to be done. Finally, after that, they will be injected into the office or the company, and they will be given an orientation. That is selection process. So when we listed out the process, we know, right, what are some of the instruments which we use. One of the instruments is we use test. Okay? The other one is interviews. Right? These are the tools which we use for selections. Third one is assessment centers. We have seen yesterday. So what is test? The test is basically, the primary aim is to collect data. Okay, collect data about the applicants that will predict their probable success as managers. Okay? Similarly, whenever you are doing an experiment, you are collecting data. Fine. Once you have collected the data, you will understand that what is the result. Okay, you will be doing some calculations, then you get the information out of that. Same thing is being done here. Whenever an applicant has to undergo a test, they are what the in charge is doing. He is collecting data about the applicant, about how good he is, how suitable he is. Okay, and what are the benefits of conducting test? That is finding the best person for the job. I can identify who is the best suited person for the job, and the applicant will also have a good job satisfaction. Okay, and what are some of the commonly used selection tests? First one is intelligence test. So in intelligence test, it is designed in such a manner that your mental capabilities analyzed. Okay, the data about your mental capacity, or your speed of thought, right? Your ability to see relationships in complex situations. All these things are received in intelligence test, right? You so measure what are the data, or what is being measured there? You measure the mental capacity, speed of thought, and the ability to see relationships. Okay. So these things are, so data about these things are measured in intelligence test. The next type of test is proficiency or aptitude test. So in this test, what they do is this test is considered in such way, or designed in such a manner that they discover your interest. Yeah, what is your interest? What is your existing skills? Okay, and how good are you in acquiring new skills? All these things will be measured by, or measured by this proficiency or aptitude test. So intelligence test basically measures your mental capacity, right? Your mental capacity is measured then. What is the speed of thought, and how good you are in seeing relationships. So we have all taken part in this test, either by in Facebook or Insta or even WhatsApp messages. Okay? We have all taken part in this test. Proficiency and aptitude, it measures your interest. Where does your interest lie? What is your skill level? Okay? And how good are you acquiring new skills? These things will be measured by proficiency test. Then vocational test means they are designed to indicate your suitable occupation. Okay? That's what will happen is, whenever you go for a company, into a company, you will be desiring certain position, right? Maybe I'm not sure if what I'm saying is right, but maybe you want to be you have a programming skills, then you want to be a programmer or developer. Okay? But what is the after the interview and after test and all, they'll say, I think you will be suitable in some other place. They'll put you, they'll say, yeah, you are, according to us, you will be suitable in that position. Okay? Maybe a tester, a software tester. Okay? It will be entirely opposite to what you have thought. So these kind of your ability. Excuse me. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So, vocation types indicate candidate's most suitable occupation or the areas in which the candidate's interest match the interest of people working in this area. Okay? So you might not know because based on the people's. Okay, so sorry. So vocational tests are designed to indicate the candidate's most suitable occupation or the area. So actually, what happens is, being a fresher, you might not know what is where your interest lie. Okay, where you are more capable. It may happen sometimes. Okay, I'm not saying that it will happen at every time, but there is a possibility there. So by doing these tests, they can identify where you are more suitable. Okay, sometimes what will happen is they will be needing a tester, software tester, and even though you are a good developer, you will be asked to work there. That's also a possibility. But these vocational tests are designed in such a manner that they can find out where you are more suitable, right? And then the fourth test is your personality test. Okay, personal tests are designed to reveal a candidate's personal characteristics. Okay? How good are they? Could you work in a team? Okay, so basically they let you know whether you are a leadership material or not. Okay, they can identify future managers there, right? Next step is so, web test. We have four types of test, right? So we have your intelligence test, where your uh, mental capacity, your speed of thought, your ability to see the relationships, these are tested. Then you have your aptitude test, right? Then you have your vocation test, and finally you have your personality test. All these tests can be used by the employer, right, or the selection committee. The next uh, tool is interviews. So we know interviews are basically a conversation. It's a conversation between the interviewer and yourself and the applicant, right? So the interviewer will be asking you various questions so that you can find out whether you are suitable for the job. Okay? We'll be judging your ability and finding out whether you are suitable for the job or not. Okay? Sometimes what will happen is the questions might be unrelated to you. Okay? It won't be something related to what you expect. Okay? You have gone for a certain job and the question will be somewhere on the other end of the spectrum. It will be totally different. Okay? And what they're actually doing is they are seeing you how you are reacting to such questions. Okay? So they are testing you there. Okay? So they are finding out whether you are dependable, adaptable, you are cooperative, you are humble, you are motivated, you are good at relationships. All these things will be measured. Okay? So interview helps to study the personality of the applicant. So basically your personality. One interview decide whether you get the job or not. So all these questions will personalities we right. We have different types of interview, right? We face-to-face interviews are there. Then we have the uh, panel or committee interviews are there, right? So you will be sitting there. 10 or 20 persons will be sitting together and asking questions. Okay. So seeing such a numbers of people, so people get stressed out. So that is again uh, an ploy, an idea to check you out. Okay. After that, 10 people only, 2 or 3 maybe knowing about the subject. Yeah, maybe the other 7 might be just for show. Okay, they'll be there for intimidating you. That will depend upon how you behave. So there will be telephone interviews right now, common. telephonic interviews, Skype interviews, all these interviews are done, right? And then there are stress interviews. So that is you will be put under stress. You are not physically put under stress, but what will happen sometimes they will have one one of the interviewer will be asking a question, and right in between, whenever you are answering it, the other person will ask you another question. Hmm? So you are putting under they are putting under stress, and how do you react? That will be measured. Okay? So the first tool is test, the second tool is interview, and the third tool is assessment centers. Okay, so assessment centers you can take it as a tool for your selection, or it can be taken for a promotion also. Okay, so what they do, we know after your selection, you have to undergo some initially you have to orientation and training, right? So during that phase also, this can be done. Okay, so what happens in assessment centers are basically you have to take certain they undergo certain tests. Okay, you have to take psychological tests what you are. Okay, how do you react? Right? Then engage in small management games. Okay? You'll be put in the small groups, then you'll be given a small task, and they'll ask you solve the problem. How is it done? Right? Or like that. Small management games, and you'll be in small groups. Then third step is you have thinking exercise. Means you are put in the hot seat. Have to you are given the position of a manager, and you are given a task. And how do you solve the problem? That is being measured. Engaging in basket. In basket means basically you're put in there, right? So uh, you are put on the hot seat. Engaging in basket exercises, in which they are asked to handle a variety of matters that might face in the job. So how do you react? That will be measured there, right? Then the other thing is you have to participate in leaderless group discussion. You have to take part in group discussion, give a brief oral presentation. Okay. So here, as we know, one of the major personal characteristics required is a manager in a manager is that he should have a good communication, right? He should be good in communication. So what happens is um, communication means not only verbally, but he has to give in reports, in speeches, all these things has to be done, right? So you have to here what happens is you have to give a oral presentation. Oral presentation you give on certain give a oral presentation on a particular topic. You'll be given you have to take you have to give out a presentation. Okay, you'll be given a topic, and the topic will be like you have to solve a problem. Okay, and that too you have to present it for a mythical supervisor. Okay, you'll say imagine on the chair there's a supervisor superior sitting there, and now present to him. That will be measured. Okay, how do you do that? Then your reports, making skills, etc., are also tested, and you have to participate in those exercises. So basically, you are getting training also. You are being judged, and you are getting training. So what happens is during all these exercises, you guys are being observed and evaluated. Okay, in between interviews will be also there. So you will be observed, you will be interviewed, and you will be evaluated. And each evaluator will make a report, individual report, just like your project, right? Whenever you are presenting a project, 3 or 4 teachers will be there. All 4 teachers will be preparing different reports. Will be awarding you marks on how you performed, right? So that will be taken into consideration. So finally, after all the evaluators have prepared a report, then what will happen is they'll sit together, they compare, and they will finally send out a report. Whether what is your quality, whether you are a good enough uh, worker or not. Okay, so that is done there, right? So these reports can be used for maybe for hiring or maybe for uh, uh, showing that you are promotable now. Okay? So manager inventory chart is there, right? So we can update on that also. Okay? The problem with this is because it is time consuming, so it will be expensive also, right? So with that, we had completed the fifth module, right? So the sixth module. Sixth module is all about leadership, leading and directing. So the first module we studied about what is the general roles, what are the roles, what are the functions of the manager, what is management as such, right? The second module we learned about theories. We learned about theories. We learned about how management came into being in this form. Today, what we see. Then the third module we learned about planning. Fourth module was about organizing. Fifth module was about staffing, and the final module is about leading and controlling. Okay. So when we say leading or leadership, what is leadership? Okay. So leadership is the art or process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly and enthusiastically towards the achievement of group goals. Okay. So by leadership, you mean or define can be defined as it's an art. Okay, it's a process of influencing people. Okay, so we are influencing people so that the people will willingly. Okay, try means try, try. The people will try willingly and enthusiastically. Okay, themselves they will be doing themselves towards the achievement of group goals. Okay, so there are two methods, right? Goals, many methods are there. One is I can make you do something out of fear. Okay, if I'm asking to do something out of fear, you will be doing only absolute minimum. Okay, what is required for that particular thing, you will be doing only absolute minimum. But if you are interested in that, if you are willingly doing, you will be doing more into it, right? Like your NSS campaign, maybe in your house, you might not do, you might not have even cleaned your bedroom. But when you are going for an NSS camp, you will be cutting down the maybe even you will even cut down a tree if required, right? There you are doing it willingly. You want to do that. So that is the difference. At home, your mom will be saying clean your room, so you are doing just make sure make that mom won't say anything, so you do the bare minimum. But when you go for another scam, the thing is different. You are doing it willingly, right? That is the difference. Okay? So leadership is the art or process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly and enthusiastically towards the achievement of group goals. And what is the principle of leadership? Principle of leadership is that people tend to follow those who offer them a means of satisfying their personal goals. Okay, okay. So a person will follow another person only if a person will follow me only if I am providing them a means to satisfy their personal goals. Okay, then only people will follow. Okay? So basically, everyone is selfish, right? The more the managers understand what motivates the subordinates, the more they the more they reflect this understanding in their actions, the more effective they are likely to lead us. Okay, so as a if if I want to be a leader, what happens is uh, I should understand what ticks them. Okay, what is the need, the what is needed in for the subordinate, what motivates the subordinate, and my decisions. Okay, my decisions or my actions should reflect that, reflect his or her need. Okay, if that is the case, then people are more likely to follow me. Okay, so principle of leadership is basically means people will follow a person if that person is satisfying their personal goals. Okay? So for a manager to be a good leader, what has to happen is uh, the manager must understand, okay, what motivates the subordinates. Okay, what motivates the subordinates, and they must reflect this understanding in their actions. The more effective they are likely to be leaders. Okay? They should understand that what is the need of the people. They should do accordingly. Whenever whatever decisions are taken, that decisions should reflect the need of the people, and that will lead to uh, people following him. Okay, that makes him a good leader, right? Just think about that sentences, right? Now, what is the difference between leading and managing? So, leading is defined as a process of people influencing people so that they will contribute to organization goals, right? They're following, they're willingly, they're doing it. So, managing is creation and maintaining an environment in which individuals work together in groups towards the accomplishment of common goal. Okay, so leading means influencing the people so that they contribute to the organization goals, right? So that's basically leading. And what is managing? Managing means we are creating an environment. We are creating and maintaining an environment in which the individual work together in groups towards the accomplishment of objectives. We are creating an environment, we are maintaining an environment in which people do the thing. Okay? And in leading, we are influencing people so that they will contribute to the organization group goals, right? So leading is an important aspect which supplements manage. Okay? So managing is supplemented by leading. It's not a substitute for management. So management means basically we are creating an environment, right? We are creating and maintaining an environment in which people do things so that they can uh, get to the organization goal. And leading means we are influencing people so that they do that maximum, so that we can achieve the organization goal. So we cannot distinguish between them. So leading actually supplements. Okay? Leading actually helps managing, right? So leadership can exist in unorganized groups also. Okay, so your friend group. So there will be usually a leader will be there in a group. Okay? Somebody who decides final decision will be from him. He want, okay. So it will, for an unorganized group also there might be uh, leadership can be done, but managing will be there for only organized structures. Okay, so managers are required to plan, organize, direct, and control. Okay, basically managerial functions, and leaders develop the vision, the strategy. Okay, so manager will tell you that we have to achieve this. That is our aim. Okay, and leader will do what leader will do. Leader will develop a strategy that by which we can achieve that. Okay, so that people will follow them. Okay, so manager shows us the plan or the goal. Leader, what leader will do is he will uh, use this goal. Okay, he will motivate the people, form a strategy to motivate the people so that this goal is achieved. Right. So managers are essential for meeting the goals, and leaders are essential for moving the organization forward. Okay, a good leader will always move the organization forward, and managers will see that the goals are met, right? So managers explain what we have to do. Okay, what we have to do, what have to be done. That is explained by the manager, and leaders say where we are going. Okay, that's the difference. Manager says, I need this thing. This has to be done. What this has to be done. Okay, the leader will tell you, okay, this is the situation. This is where we are going. We have to do this. Otherwise, we'll be going for uh, closure or bankruptcy. Okay? The leader will motivate you. They will give you an idea, right, of what you have to do. Then managing is a task oriented, doing things right, while leading is vision oriented, doing the right things. Okay, so managing is task oriented, me leading is vision oriented, and managing is doing the things right. Okay, and leading is doing right things. Okay? These are self-explanatory, right? Managing is task oriented and doing things right. Leading is vision oriented and doing the right things. Okay, that's the difference, right? So managers direct and control, leaders motivate and inspire, right? That is basically the difference between managing and leading. So if you briefly, okay, so leading means we are influencing people so that we have they will contribute to the organization goals. Okay, and managing means we are creating an environment, we are creating and maintaining an environment where people can work together and achieve the goals, right? So leading is a supplement to the managing. Okay, it's not a substitute, it is a supplement to the managing process. So leadership can exist for unorganized groups, but managing will be always for organized group only. Leaders are required to plan, organize, direct, and control. The managers, leaders, they develop the vision, they develop the strategy to reach the goals. Okay, so that people will follow them. Managers are essential for meeting the goals, while leaders are essential for moving the company forward. Right? Managers make sure that we meet our goal, and leaders make sure that we are moving forward. So both are needed in a company. So managers explain what we have to do, while the leaders explain where we are going. Right? So managing is task oriented and doing the right things, while leading is vision oriented. Okay? And doing the things right. Sorry, managing is task oriented and doing the things right. Okay, everything should be done properly. And leading means it is vision oriented and you are doing the right things. Right. So basically, you can say managers direct and control, leaders motivate and inspire. Right. So there are different approaches to leadership. Okay? The first approach is trait approach. Okay, trait means your quality, your ability. Right. What are your traits? What are different traits of you? It means your quality, your ability, like that. Your features can be set. Okay. The first one is having thing is trait approach to leadership. Right. So trait approach to leadership is based on the characteristics of both successful and unsuccessful leaders. It's used to predict the effectiveness of leadership. What the researchers do is they will make a list of successful leaders and unsuccessful also. Okay, and see what are the factors which have influenced them to become more successful, and what are the factors which has led to them becoming unsuccessful. Researchers have made a list of them. Okay, and if and it can be used to predict the effectiveness of leadership. So whenever a new person comes in as a leader, so we can look into these traits and see how many traits are satisfied by this person. Is he gonna be a good leader? So we can predict. Okay. So basically, researchers have identified different traits. Okay, so 5 physical traits. Physically, traits such as his appearance, his height, his energy, all these things. Right? Physically, how he is. There are 5 traits physically. 4 traits of intelligence and ability traits. Four intelligence and ability. Okay, 16 personality traits. Okay, personality in they look personality in person. They look adaptability, its aggressiveness, self-confidence, its enthusiasm, etc. Okay, that is 16 number. Some of them are listed out. 6 are task related. Okay, they drive. Okay, how well they want to be succeed. Okay, what is the persistence? How well they persist? Then what is the initiative taken by them? All these things are comes under the task related. Okay, then social characteristics also taken. 9 social characteristics. That is, what is the cooperativeness, the interpersonal skills, and administrative ability. Okay? So researchers have identified like so. Basically, they have identified 5 physical traits, 4 intelligence and ability traits, 16 personality traits, 6 task-related traits, 9 social characteristics. Okay? So various traits have been identified by the researchers. So they say if a person is having this and this traits, he can be successful. So basically, when you look into this thing, one thing you can understand is how it is basically how is their behaving. Right? Most of the traits are like how they are behaving. It shows in your behavior, right? And using this, some of the key leadership traits are identified. They are first one is drive. Okay? Your achievement, your motivation, your energy, your ambition, your initiative, your tenacity. Okay? There are certain people who want to succeed at all costs. Okay? What is the drive? What is the motivation? What is the leadership motivation? The aspiration to lead. Okay? I want to lead, but I don't want power. Okay? There are person who want power. Uh, their aim is power. Leadership. In the movie Poe, you have seen the movie Poe, right? In that the leader he shows that he's a good leader, but ultimately what he wants is power. Right? So leadership motivation, honesty and integrity, a very important factor. Then self-confidence, okay, emotional stability. That is, he may if a problem comes up, he might break down. Okay? He might be seen a physically and mentally well a good capable person, but in face of a issue, he might break down. He might not know what to do. He'll be completely switched off, like that kind of situation. So his self confidence is assessed, and during also his emotional stability is also assessed. Okay? Then cognitive ability, and understanding of the business. Okay? So these are the major traits which are seen in a which are to be looked into a potential leader. Okay? Whenever you are selecting a potential leader, you should check whether this person satisfies the list. Okay? The list of these traits. Okay, so these traits are compared to the potential leaders to assess their likelihood of success or failure. Okay, this approach constitutes information about the leader. Right, we know this person's having this kind of this one out. traits, then there is a probability. That is the success probability of success is more. So that gives you an idea, right? The managers can evaluate their positions and assess how it can be made stronger. Okay, so what you understand is, so you being a selector, you can look into these traits. Okay, so me being a employee, okay, I can also do the same thing. Okay, I can see, okay, these are the traits which is needed. Okay, what is my level? Okay, my self confidence, where am I? My drive, where am I? Okay, so I can also assess myself. Okay, then I can also prepare myself. Okay, so I can show that I am also a good enough leader. So if I am lacking somewhere, so I can have a chance to develop myself also. Okay, so it's again win-win situation. Okay, so you can select a good leader, and I can make myself a good leader. I can improve my qualities, right? So that managers, that's what it says. Managers can evaluate their position and assess how it can be made stronger. Okay, but that's the about positives. Okay, but what is negative is trade approach does not give guidance as to how much of any trade a person should have. Okay, it is said that you should have this, you should have that, you should have there, right? You are given a list, but you don't know how much is needed. Okay, see, we'll say now there's a very thin line between self-confidence and overconfidence, confidence and overconfidence. Okay, but there's no distinguishing. Okay, or there's no limiting of how much is not answered in the trait approach. What that is one of the issues with the trait approach. Okay, the other approach, other is there is no agreement among the researchers, the relationship between the traits and leadership. Okay, so each researcher will be having its own opinion. Okay, so there's no agreement. Okay, even though we say drive is needed, self confidence is needed. Okay, that we can understand. Okay, that is a needed, but what is the relationship? Okay, so there's no such agreement between the researchers. Okay, so this drive will, this feature, this trait will need to develop, will make a good leader. Leader. Okay, that's not being said. There's no agreement among the researchers about the relationship between the trait and leadership. Okay, and the funny thing is, not all leader possess all the traits. Okay, they might have, you might have a successful leader. Okay, but he may not have. So if he might not be physically strong, he might not be 6 feet tall, but he will be a good leader. Okay, and many non-leaders may have possessed most of the or all of the characteristics. Okay, so it is very ambiguous. Okay, because basically we are taking what we are talking is behavior. Okay, so it becomes very ambiguous, right? So that's the problem with the trade approach. So what is the trade approach? Trade approach of leadership. What we do is we look into the traits or the characteristics or the abilities or the features of both successful and unsuccessful leaders. Okay, both of them are taken into consideration, and once it is considered, then we'll make a list. So researchers have identified some traits. Okay, physically there are 5 traits which can be looked into, like its energy, appearance, height. Then intelligence is there, 4 intelligence, 16 personality traits. Then 6 task related, 9 social characteristics. Okay? Different traits has been identified by the researchers. And out of these, some of them are taken as key for the good leader. Very important traits for leader. Among them, one is drive, then leadership motivation, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, cognitive ability to think, okay, and understand the business. So how does he think? Okay, these are important traits for a leader. So whenever you are choosing for when you're looking for a leader, you can look for a person with these traits, right? And it also gives the persons also, okay, the people also, the managers also, a chance to improve themselves so that they can become good leaders because they know these are the traits which I need. So I am lacking here, so I must improve there. Okay, that kind of a situation is there. But the problem is there is no uh, guide for how much of this is required, right? We don't know what is the requirement, how much of is required. So we say, right, everything becomes a certain Amardhu mission. that kind of a policy. Okay, we don't know what is required at what level. Right? So there's no agreement between the researchers also. They are also not sure about how these relationships are there. Okay? We can say a person who is having good drive may become a good leader, but we are not sure. Okay? So the thing is, not all leaders possess all the traits, and sometimes what non-leaders, okay, those who are not fit for becoming a leader may possess some of these traits. Basically, what we are saying is most of the traits are basically how you behave. It's a pattern of your behavior, right? Okay. So we'll stop here today. If you have any doubt,